like to talk about successful investing. And I've asked my colleague Aldo Baltaggio, Senior Portfolio Manager at APG, to talk with us about it. So Aldo, let's say that we've got 100,000 and it goes to 110,000, so that would be a gain of 10,000, as opposed to if you went to 90,000, that would be a loss. So over time, we really want to maximize the gain and minimize the loss, right? If we had 100,000 invested and we never looked at it, can you just explain what might happen to that money over time?
Sure, and really it depends on what would happen to that portfolio over a short period of time. Would really be dependent upon what the asset allocation is, meaning the allocation between stocks and bonds. But regardless of the asset allocation over long periods of time, you should expect the portfolio to experience gains. But over short periods of time, the portfolio can experience both gains and losses. And the magnitude of those gains and losses really depends on the asset allocation, both on short term and long term.
Okay, can you just explain, how short term? What does that mean? Is that months, a year? What does that mean?
Well, that's an interesting question. The finance books don't necessarily have a specific time in which to define short term or long term. It really depends on the investor. And their goals and their horizon. But generally speaking, not knowing anything else about the investor, I would say that anything under 5 years is generally considered short term, and anything over five and beyond is long term.
All right, so if we needed our money in the next couple of years, so that would be in the short term, what sort of investment should we have?
Well, I think that if money is needed in the short term, that investors should look toward safer investments, and those safer investments are usually bonds or cash or cash equivalent investments. Cash and cash equivalent investments should be where someone puts their money if they're going to need it within a few months or even a year. Bonds maybe is where someone might invest if their horizon is over a year, in less than 5 years.
Okay, can you just explain what dollar cost averaging means?
Sure. I mean, dollar cost averaging is essentially investing a certain amount of money periodically over time, and again, the textbooks don't define exactly what the time horizon is or the periodicity of it. It could be weekly, monthly, quarterly. The point is that you invest a fixed sum of money over time.
And that's going to be more successful for us rather than investing all in one go?
Sure. I mean, it could potentially be more successful for an investor if we depending on what happens, of course, with the market. So if the markets, if we're in the middle of a strong bull market, as they say, which is when the stock market is rising, then dollar cost averaging it rather than investing it all at once in the beginning will hurt the investor. If the market is in the middle of a bear market, or which means that the stock market is declining, or the bond market is declining, then dollar cost averaging would have helped the investor. But unfortunately, we just don't know where the market is headed. So what helps alleviate the, if you will, timing risk of when to invest money, dollar cost averaging can alleviate that risk.
Okay, so if we have some money invested, say we are in 80% stocks and 20% bonds, because we're young and we have a long time horizon, should we just leave that and forget about it? We've invested 80-20, or should we? What should we do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Generally, we are advocates of sticking to an asset allocation over time. However, as the investor gets older and therefore their time horizon gets shorter, we definitely recommend paring down the allocation to stocks in the portfolio and increasing the bond allocation. Also, in the meantime, we also recommend rebalancing periodically to get the portfolio back in line to its target allocation. Because if that's not done, then if we're experiencing a strong market, then that 80-20 allocation will become closer to a 90-10 allocation. And the problem with that is that a 90-10 portfolio might surprise that investor in terms of risk, because they were expecting more of an 80-20 risk profile. So rebalancing helps manage risk by keeping portfolios at their asset allocations over time.
All right, so to be a successful investor, we don't want to just set it and forget it. We want to keep reviewing the portfolio as time goes on. Okay, so thank you very much, Aldo.
Thank you.
Hopefully this has given us some insights into how to successfully invest. If you have any questions, please send them in to me, Stephanie Boyer, and I will pass them on to Aldo and get some answers to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.